Welcome, wrestling friends, to another edition of Smarknado. I'm your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the Danaconda, Dan Sesnit. Dan, how's your evening going, sir?
It is. It's going well. I am, a long day, long week at work, but I won't complain about that. I am showing off my hairline to the folks this week, so you're welcome, all.
Are
But
you? Is
otherwise,
that like a flex, or are you saying
no,
it's
no.
receding?
I'm saying I don't ever wear don't wear a hat, so I
Mhm.
feel kind of semi naked here today, showing off
Yeah,
my
that's
hairline.
true. Yep, you're wearing a kit though.
I am.
Let's see.
I am. It's
Yep.
soccer season, baby.
hmm
Yeah.
Soccer, for those of you that are Europeans, it's known as football to all of
Football.
you.
Yeah.
But we all know that it's not really football. Let's be honest. I just can't get into soccer, but
I can, man. It's been a fun ride. I'm into it, and to each their own. But it's something I like it a little bit more than I like baseball these days. So that's kind of where I'm at
right
with it.
on. Well, the Red Sox aren't necessarily like great this year,
No, they're
so
not awful. They're not great.
they're just kind of middle of the road. But
They're
of
there.
course, you know the name of the show, guys. We're here to talk about professional wrestling.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with the most recent thing that we experienced. Actually, no, not the most recent. I guess Raw would be the most recent thing, but let's talk about the big show that we just experienced.
Well, yes.
Very, very, very big show. And before we get into it, I just want to say my piece, a little gripe there, if you will. And it's not like I have a problem with this being an extra long wrestling card like it is. I have a big problem with the day of the week it's on, as well as the time that it starts. When you have a card this robust, I say let's fucking start it at like 6 p.m., 5 p.m., something like that. You
I'm
know,
with you. I'm with you. I'm
bro, it's
completely with you.
I left Drew's house at 11, and then there was two matches that were left, and I think it went well past midnight. The show.
I don't know because I fell asleep, and I didn't have to work yesterday either.
Yeah,
So to me, like there was no real complaint. I could have stayed up. It's a long show, and to ask me to stay up till midnight for wrestling is hard, man. It's
past midnight, even.
past
Yeah,
midnight, even.
yeah.
Right?
It's on a work night. Like, I think Tony Khan just either he has this belief that a lot of wrestling fans don't have like real jobs, or he just doesn't fucking care, you know. And
I
thinks that
think
we're just gonna like make a sacrifice of like not going to work the next day or something like that. I'm really, as somebody who is working really hard to advance myself in my career and whatnot. I don't know how much. I don't know how much I can give to, staying up that late for wrestling shows. I kind of put my foot down on this show and just ended up being like, I'm fucking leaving at 11 no matter what.
I
You
do
know?
that with every show though, man. Like I don't remember the last pay-per-view I stayed awake for the whole time. Like I don't. They're long shows, and I'm not complaining. Like they're always good from top to bottom, with the exceptions from time to time. But
Yeah.
and I don't mind watching it the next day, and I'm pretty good at avoiding spoilers when I do.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's never really been an issue with the length of them. I mentally tell myself I know I'm not going to stay up for this whole show. I'm not going to. Just what it is.
It's too much, man.
It's too much. But let's talk about the actual wrestling.
Yeah, even on the just one more thing. Even on the main card, I think 10 matches is way too much for a card.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of matches. But that's what Forbidden Door kind of is, and it's what I expect.
Which is why it should be on a Saturday.
Agreed. All right. We're all on the same page here.
Yes.
Yeah. I think most wrestling fandom is on the same page as us as well, because we do have real jobs, Tony. We do.
Right. I fucking, it's just like, I don't know. This show in particular just got me more pissed off about that situation, but I digress. Let's just get into the show. I'll
So
admittedly say that I didn't really watch too much of the pre-show, more that I watched like the last two matches of the pre-show. So let's just start off. Do you have anything to say about Kyle Fletcher beating Serpentico?
other than it's the dumbest match that could have possibly existed. It was zero purpose, and it didn't
I
make Kyle
100%
Fletcher
agree with
look
you.
good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
stupid. What happened? Some luchador, I forget the name, beat Kyle Fletcher at CMLL Fantastica Mania or whatever the fuck the show that they have
okay.
for the ROH TV title.
Oh yeah, it was. Fuck. I wanted to say Volador Jr., but that's wrong.
It's somebody junior. I know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember. Yeah, that's strange.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing with Kyle Fletcher. And then Kyle Fletcher shows up. We'll talk about it later on in the show.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
At the
yeah.
end. So I don't know.
Four-way tag team
Head
match. We had Malachi and Brody, Kings of the Black Throne. They beat Ishii and O'Reilly, Roderick Strong and Gabe Kidd, and Private Party. Do you have anything to say about this match? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
Okay. Love Gabe Kidd, though. I love
Yeah.
the promos that he's been cutting. I want to see him on AEW TV more.
I do too.
All right.
And hopefully that Roderick Strong alliance will pay off for that.
Yeah, hope so. Next, we had Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano. They defeated Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened here either.
It was on. I watched
It was
it.
on.
But
Mhm.
I wasn't paying much attention. With not a lot of stakes, it's hard for me to get invested sometimes.
Well, if I can say one thing about the pre-show, at least one of the matches did actually have stakes. The women's Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match. We had Mariah May getting the upset over Saraya. I like this move.
I love the move because Mariah May is one of the better women's wrestlers on the roster, truthfully. And I think that she deserves a run. She's been part of the hottest storyline in the women's division going. So
maybe she's the one that wins this tournament and goes on to challenge Tony.
And has to begrudgingly.
Yeah. But then she ends up like going full heel against Tony.
Interesting theory. Interesting theory. Could happen. It could play out that way.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then finally, to wrap up the pre-show, we had Lucha Brothers and Mystico, the former Sin Cara, defeating LIJ. That's Yota Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi.
This was awesome.
It actually was. I loved, the interactions between Yota Tsuji and Penta. I want to see a one-on-one match with those guys.
It was awesome for historical significance too. You know what I mean? Because there was many people in that ring that people said would never share a ring. So I enjoyed it. I would say that Yota Tsuji should be looked at as one of the next big guys.
100% agreed with that. As far as I'm concerned, he should get like an Okada treatment in the next year. But when you were talking about for historical purposes, were you referring to Penta El Cerro Miedo and Rey Fenix teaming up with Mystico, considering the fact that AAA, CMLL?
Correct.
Got it. They're
I didn't
out
want
of the AAA contracts, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their contract status is, but I know that this is just mind-blowing to a lot of Lucha Libre fans.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not necessarily the biggest Lucha Libre fan or historian, but I do know that it has been deemed significant.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So the start of this card, MJF versus Hechicero. MJF getting a hero's welcome here. I think
He's our
that
scumbag.
he's our scumbag. This is definitely by design. MJF getting the first match. I think he just kind of was like, "Hey Tony, put me in the first match. I want to hang out with my friends."
I don't even know that it's necessarily hang out with your friends, but who better to pop the show off than the hometown boy who is, made his recent return and, all that. I thought it was a smart play. It's the match that I would have put first too.
Yeah, get the crowd hot, get them excited. Hechicero's great, man. I want to see more of him in AEW.
I think you will.
Another thing that I really like is I'm enjoying MJF using the Brainbuster as a finisher because I think he does a really good Brainbuster.
It's filthy. It's filthy, and everybody does a Brainbuster, and for him to do it as a finisher is awesome. It brings me back to the old days, right? When a simple move was a finisher. The DDT,
I think that used to be like Tajiri's finisher back in the day.
Yeah, but very few people use it as a finisher, and I think and if you want to, it's simple and it's effective, right? Anybody gets dropped on their head at that velocity,
it should be a 1-2-3.
Yeah, it should be.
Exactly. All right, next we had the Elite, the Jacksons and Kazuchika Okada. They defeated the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Nice little extended wrap there by Max Caster. He really got his shit in that respect. I thought it was great.
Finally got his shit in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that this has been like a really great comeback feud for the Acclaimed. To
getting them away from the Bullet Club was perfect, right? They had a great run. Yeah. They had a great run. They had some really good matches. They had some good stuff going on in that feud. It lasted too long. And what better way to put them front and center? Because as we all know, they were the hottest act in the company for a good chunk of time. So
absolutely.
I gotta say, man, Tanahashi is washed, bro.
He can't really do it much anymore. I think that this is the perfect type of match, though, if you're going to put him in a match.
Yeah.
Limit his skill, limit his spots a little bit. I thought it was appropriate that Okada got the victory over Tanahashi, too, because they're not going to be facing each other that much anymore. But
they shouldn't be. Not one-on-one.
No.
No way.
No, definitely not. But I think that gone are the days of seeing Tanahashi like wrestle for a championship at the end of a card. Yeah.
Hopefully. Because when you watch that kind of stuff, makes you just want to go back and watch old Tana matches because that stuff, it's just sometimes it's just really it's cringy. I don't love it.
All right, next, one of my favorite matches of the night for sure. Owen Hart tournament first round match. This gets a hot dog. Bryan Danielson defeated Shingo by submission. Dude, this was just such a great story of like Bryan having to break down this dragon, this monster that is just like torturing him,
if you will.
And I thought that Shingo did a great job playing the heel in this match. I think he kind of read the crowd and he saw what was going on, and he was a real piece of shit. But in the end, Danielson got the dramatic submission victory with that armbar type variation that looked very Zack Sabre Jr. like. And a
little bit of foretelling for you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was a hot dog match for me. I thought it was stiff. I thought Danielson just plays the perfect, injured baby face, right? Like, I don't know that there's ever been anybody that's done it better than him.
Right.
I don't want to say underdog because I think that's overused, but just the guy that's just beaten down, the guy that's, has to fight hurt all the time.
Absolutely, man. And it's like It's sad that it's his last year wrestling. I say this all the time when we're covering a pay-per-view match of Bryan Danielson's.
Yeah,
But
it's a little.
I mean, how much more of a perfect portfolio is he going to put together than the one that he has already put together right now?
Do you want to see him with the AEW title? I know that that's a big, point of contention amongst a lot of fans, in the Smart world or the IWC, if you will. What do
Well,
you
I'll
want
tell
to
you
see?
this. I personally, as a fan of Bryan Danielson, I would love to see it. But I already know, knowing Bryan Danielson, that he doesn't want that. So it's just, I think the more likely scenario is that he's not going to.
You don't think he would do it for the fans? A
Um,
short run, 2 months.
Yeah, maybe like a short run. Yeah.
2 months, I think, with that title, would do wonders for the company. I think it would make a lot of people happy.
Do you think that he main events Wembley against Swerve? Because that's what the winner of this tournament's gonna do.
And then he drops it back in Washington at Wrestle Dream.
Is it going to be in Washington again?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Let Danielson win the Owen. I could see it.
I think he does win the Owen. And then, of course, next we have for the AEW Women's World Championship, Timeless Toni Storm against Mina Shirakawa. This was a great back and forth match. I thought that Mina really showed off her skills here. And of course, I think that the moment post match for me was Nigel crying.
Giving him a standing ovation.
Giving them a standing ovation and crying after they all kissed each other.
He's the best in the business, man.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's like a better version
of Corey Graves.
I was actually gonna say of Jerry Lawler, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's perverted, but not in like the worst way possible.
No, not in an overt way.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he's just a dirt ball. Like that's all he is. He's just a dirt ball.
Yes.
And I love it.
Yeah. It was awesome. And I guess we'll see more Mina, and
I think so.
Everyone's happy.
It's a good trio. It's a good story. Why cut it off at the knees right now? I think there's more to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next we had a special singles match.
Hold on, I want to stop you because this just came to my head, and before we get off Nigel and we were just talking about Danielson and possibly winning. Would you want to see? Obviously, I want to see Swerve and Danielson at Wembley for the title or whatever. But if Nigel has one match left, would you want to see Nigel and Danielson at Wembley?
Yeah, and if it is gonna play out like that, I would like to see Nigel be the one that costs Danielson the Owen Hart tournament final.
Okay. Because I still think Nigel is prepping for a comeback. He just plants too many seeds of hatred for Danielson for me to not think they have one match left in them. Because arguably, he's arguably Danielson's biggest rival, right?
Arguably.
Yeah. I mean, you could say so. So if Danielson's done for after this year, fans want it if it can happen.
Yeah. 100%. Right. I think that they can tell that story.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Carry on.
No worries. We had ZSJ getting the win over Orange Cassidy by submission. This was an awesome match, in my opinion.
Hot dog.
I'm going to give it a hot dog. Yeah.
Hot dog.
I think that ZSJ is just a master of his crafts. I think just everything he does is incredible.
And OC's no slouch when it comes to submission wrestling and counters and whatnot either.
100%.
He can chain wrestle too.
And these guys have crossed paths before in the old days of Chikara.
Yep.
You know, when OC was Fire Ant and Zack Sabre Jr. barely made the worldwide footprint that he currently has.
Yeah.
So this was great. Just full circle match here. And I say it all the time. I think that this is Zack Sabre Jr.'s year. I think that he is long overdue to get a big title run as IWGP champion. I think he wins the G1 this year.
Yeah,
and, when you think of like the top British wrestlers that are out there, Ospreay has gotten his due. I'm blanking, but ZSJ is in that. Michael Oku, yeah, ZSJ has been British heavyweight champion like Michael Oku, but he's just as talented as. Is it crazy to say he's just as talented as Ospreay, but just in a different way?
No, because you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like they're completely different in their respective styles, but like I think that their PhD level skill for their respective styles are at a pretty even par.
Ospreay's more well-rounded.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But when it comes to technical wrestling, no, nobody's better than Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, there's a couple of Gresham maybe is close.
I love Gresham, but I just don't think anyone touches ZSJ. I really don't. Hechicero tapped out ZSJ a couple weeks ago with a really nasty submission. They didn't talk about that.
Was that at CMLL?
The CMLL show, yeah.
Interesting. Hechicero is a big deal, man. I think he's I hope he's around a lot more. He wrestles any style.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, he definitely does. All right. Next, we had a trios match. Dan's favorite people. We had Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb, which is a great thing. They faced Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. And listen, I think that this match should have gotten the time that it did? No.
Nope.
Did I think it was awesome when like Jeff Cobb and Samoa Joe interacted? Fuck yes.
Oh,
and just
God, I can't wait. I can't wait to see the one-on-one. I can't wait for it.
And every time Shibata was in the ring, it was really interesting. But who was it that
Shibata just backed down just the whole way? I
think it was Big Bill.
Yeah, man. He's just terrifying.
Mm-hmm. We hate the learning tree and everything that's about it, except, Brian Keith. Let's free my boy. But
free Brian Keith.
Free Brian Keith. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a great moment that Hook was able to pin Jericho clean 1, 2, 3, and he did a better Judas effect than Jericho ever could do.
He walloped him, bro. Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah. I thought he knocked him out for real for a second.
I know. That was vicious, bro. Like
he should steal that. I'm stealing.
He should. He should like this. That's what should come out of this Jericho feud is Hook starts using the Judas effect and calls it like the Red Hook or something like that.
Whatever he calls it, he should start using it because it's filth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So next, we had a ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship. Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Dante Martin versus Theo Rush versus ELP El Phantasmo and Jack Perry.
How did LP get in this match?
I guess he won some qualifier like on Collision or Rampage or something. It kind of caught me by surprise too.
I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, I wasn't mad about it. I love him. But
I think that the purpose of his interaction is they put him and Takeshita together. Takeshita did that incredible Blue Thunder bomb through the tables on ELP. Gnarly. And I think that they're going to tell that story going into the G1 because, as you know, Takeshita's in the G1 this year. And I think that El Phantasmo is in the same block as him.
Okay.
So, some stories there. But I thought that a lot of great spots. Mark Briscoe, I was particularly worried about. You know, him coming off the ladder, the way that he landed made me nervous, looking like Adam Copeland when he came off the top of the cage. But yeah, man, I was real sour about Jack Perry winning. I know that was the expected result, but I was just took the air out of the room, in my opinion.
See, but who else? I mean, I know that you're all about Takeshita, but if he's going off the G1, you don't put the title on him.
I want Mark Briscoe to win.
Nah.
I'll tell you why, because Mark Briscoe has just been stealing the hearts of the fans for the last few weeks, you know, and I think that strike while the iron is hot type mentality, it would have been a great moment for Mark Briscoe to win.
Okay, I think he got. I don't know, man. I see why they put it on Perry and why they didn't put it on Takeshita. I buy your sentimentality for Briscoe, but as a double champ, I don't know. I don't know, and that I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He probably should have won, but Jack Perry being the heel champ is okay by me.
Yeah, and he definitely won it in a real fucked up way. You know, beating the shit out of Mark Briscoe with the chair.
Yeah,
and going up there.
Just makes their one-on-one match whenever it happens going to be fun to watch.
I hope so. But yeah, I don't know if it's like me wanting to say fuck Jack Perry because of his current character or just like fuck Jack Perry in general, but like I'm just not into him.
See, I am. I like it. It doesn't bother me. He's a smug fuck, and I like it. It's all right. He fits right in with the elite, and I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, Phil was right.
I don't think Phil was that right. Let's not say that.
I'm just saying that to get under people's skin.
We just lost a listener.
John just swerved off the side of the road. We have a winner take all match for the AEW TBS Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Mercedes Moné was able to beat Stephanie Vaquer by submission. I thought it was a good match. I thought an interesting note in this match were the fans turning on Mercedes in a way of saying, fuck you Celtics, fuck you Red Sox, basically anti-Boston sentiment. But I think a little bit of that is just anti-Mercedes sentiment. And I would be lying to you if I didn't say that the report that came out that she literally told TMZ that she has full creative control of her character really rubbed me the wrong way, man. And I know that she's had great matches and everything, but it's really hard for me to get on board with her as a person.
I bet you more people have full creative control than you actually know. You know what I mean? For her to come out and say
it so arrogantly out there.
That was the point I was getting to. They don't always come out and say it that they have full creative control. It's a very Hogan way to act. I get your point. You know, but I've enjoyed the stories that have been like the feud between her and Willow. I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the lead up to this Stephanie Vaquer match. I enjoyed this match a lot. Really, I genuinely did, and I became a huge fan of Stephanie Vaquer, who I've seen wrestle once or twice before, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
And she showed out in this match. Really.
She's pretty awesome, man, and she's certainly the first wrestler that I know of, and I'm sure there's more that is from Chile.
Yeah,
you know, but she did a great job in here, and again, it's just I want to like Mercedes, but she just makes it so hard. She does, you know, like I just
she's cringy. She is.
Yeah.
There's things about her that I enjoy. At times, she is very entertaining. But, you know, some of the stuff that she's trying to get over is just not getting over with me.
No.
That's all. But people have tried worse shit that got over. So.
Yeah. All right, so right at the end of this match, though, we get a big return, and it's Britt
Yeah.
Baker DMD. She looked absolutely fucking fantastic.
Jacked, right?
That, like, look, those abs had abs, you know?
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
a good
so
thing.
this is going to be, I think this is going to be good shit, because I think that I think Britt is really good on the mic,
Mhm.
and maybe they can bring the best out of each other, you know? Like, I
And
think
I
that
think
Mercedes can bring the best out of Britt in an in-ring perspective, and then Britt can bring the best out of Mercedes in a promo perspective.
yep,
You
I
know,
completely agree, and I think that Britt Baker being gone for so long is easy to make her the baby face, and we saw how the crowd turned on Mercedes. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
she's primed to be the heel that she's supposed to be,
I hope
right?
so.
Like this is the spot where she needs to really unleash and become exactly what she can be, and that's the bitchy CEO.
Yes, indeed. All right. Then this is just a chore just getting through all these matches talking about it, brother. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Naito regained the championship over John Moxley. Really like the decision here to put the belt back on Naito. I think it made it all the more important for a New Japan guy to go over an AEW guy on this Forbidden Door pay-per-view. They have exposure to, you know, everybody in the American and international audiences that may not be too familiar with Tetsuya Naito. I thought that they put on a really great hard-hitting match with each other. You know,
I think the MVP of this match to me was Excalibur, sort of laying out all the things that you just said, right? Like the connections and the history and Naito and how where they wrestled in Chicago for the title the last time, and he did such a good job laying it all out for everybody that may not necessarily be you or I or a diehard fan. So I think a little kudos to Excalibur, who I really feel like did that all night.
Yeah.
Right? Like all night, just explaining where people came from, why it was important, and selling us on it. I thought he did a fantastic job in this match as well.
He's a good table setter for sure.
Yeah.
All right, then finally for the AEW World Championship,
Hold
I'm
on.
already gonna say it. Hot
Is
dog
this?
and a handshake.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Swerve retains against Will Ospreay, and this was just 100 miles an hour here, throwing everything that they have against each other, every hot move.
I also think that maybe they gave us too much. You know what I mean? Like they didn't leave anything for next time. Although I
No,
think
but
both of
I think that the next time between these two is going to be a while from now. Personally, I think it's gonna, the next time is going to be maybe like next Forbidden Door or something. You know,
maybe.
Yeah, but I thought it was the right decision, absolutely, for Swerve to retain here. This was a nice big win for him, despite the fact that a lot of, you know, you could tell the story that part of the reason why he won was because of the distraction from Don Callis trying to get Will Ospreay to use the screwdriver in the match. And then yeah, man, oh my god, those fucking house call kicks that he hit on Ospreay, it would just look like death. My god.
It felt really I'm sorry, I love you. You know what I mean? Like when he was hitting them.
Yes, especially that moment where when Ospreay with like 0%, maybe like 5% health left, tried to do a very weak hidden blade, and Swerve just like caught him, and it was just like, oh my god, you're pathetic. Like it just like put him out to pasture, you know. They told a great story in this match. It gets a hot dog and a handshake from me. And thank God.
I concur.
I think that too many people were kind of writing off Swerve from this match and just thinking like, oh, well, this is the moment where Ospreay wins and he's the best guy. And like, we can just move on and he's going to main event Wembley.
No.
I'm glad they made this decision because I've said it before. I think Ospreay needs a climb to get to that world championship. And I think
it was too soon.
This is a chapter in his climb to get there again.
He's got a lot of years left with Ospreay. He's going to be the champion eventually. There's no doubt in my mind. But right now, it's a hurdle that he didn't get over.
Right.
And that's okay. And truthfully, it's easy for me to say this in hindsight, right? But like I kind of never thought that Ospreay was going to win.
Right.
I just never really did. And it's easy for me to say that now because, I've seen the result. But truthfully, like there was never a part of me that was like, they can't cut Swerve. There's going to be a lot of angry. I think it would have pissed a lot of people off if they had put the belt on Ospreay. A lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, I just think that Swerve has just built he's just, his stock has skyrocketed,
It's overused, but he does have aura, right? He is the guy that has swagger. He has all of that. And he's up here right now, and you cut him off, and it's going to be a long way for him to get back if you cut him short that quickly.
100%, man. But overall, I thought this was a great show. I would probably, let's see, top to bottom, I'd give it a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. What do you think, Dan?
I'm going to go 8, and this is only because there was a few matches that I just found myself just not paying attention to, and it was too long.
It was too long. It was entirely too long. I would concede with you on an 8, actually.
Yeah. Just because, but I 8 out of 10 is really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a really good show. It was a 100%. Long show. There was a few matches that I probably would have went a different way with, booking wise, not outcome wise. I think outcome wise, everything sort of played out as it should have. But like I would have probably plugged different people in matches with the options that you have.
Yeah. Giving
different people a bigger stage, like Gabe Kidd, for example. You know what I mean? So
definitely. Or Yota Tsuji, for that matter. Yeah. I think those are two like very, very hungry young wrestlers on the New Japan roster that kind of need a bigger spotlight. So I'm with you on that.
And if you want to grow your brand over here, get them buzzed about on TV and then send them over there. Right. What are your thoughts about the second night of Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty that they announced?
I'm just learning about it now, Dan.
You really?
Yeah. Did they say that on the pay-per-view?
They did. I think it was either before or after the.
All right. So
the
I saw.
Match.
Okay, so I saw that there was some sort of like New Japan advertisement. I kind of skipped over that because obviously, as you know, I left Drew's house at 11. I didn't end up seeing the rest of the show, so then I just kind of caught up with those other two matches. But so a second night of Wrestle Kingdom, huh?
It's going to be called Dynasty. I'm going to pull it up. Called Wrestle Dynasty, and it's a pay-per-view in the Tokyo Dome between AEW, Stardom, CMLL, New Japan, and it's the and Ring of Honor.
Shit.
So, wow. And that will be in Tokyo Dome on January 5th.
Wow.
So,
damn.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
So that should be really, really interesting. So I think that over the next 6 months, we're going to see a lot more of New Japan wrestlers on AEW TV. and
Mhm.
I'm for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am for it too, my friend. That's really exciting. Maybe I'll have to
Yeah.
watch that promo package.
it
Real quick,
wasn't it wasn't that exciting. It was very simple promo package.
yeah. All right, so let's talk about our thoughts and what we think the fallout will be of like two very significant segments that happened on WWE this week.
Yes.
First of which, from SmackDown, you had the acknowledgement ceremony, getting Jacob Fatu officially in this new bloodline. You go to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, who, by the way, didn't sleep the entire night before to show that he had like red eyes and isn't shaving and stuff. You want to talk about
They got
commitment?
makeup for that, Paulie.
Yeah. You want to talk about commitment there?
Take
He's
a nap, bro.
unbelievable. But
And then he took that bump.
bro, oh my god. Like, holy fuck. I first of all, I thought that Jacob Fatu was gonna splash him, but he ended up doing the headbutt, and I bet like he didn't hit Paul at all just because he's such a safe worker, you know.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the one thing that you couldn't fake is him going through the table on the outside. I watched the back of his head go off the floor, and that just made me.
He's a pro. He's a pro,
Dude,
man. He is a pro's pro.
Holy fuck. Wild shit. How soon do you think we see Roman Reigns come back? Do you think it happens next week? Do you think that they wait maybe like until the pay-per-view or something like that?
Well, the pay-per-view is this weekend.
Well, exactly. The pay-per-view is this weekend, but Friday, before the pay-per-view.
I don't know, man. Where is the pay-per-view? Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Money in the Bank just doesn't feel like big enough stage to bring Roman Reigns back, in my opinion. I don't know what you think, but like, I don't know.
Well, I think that the Bloodline do play a role in a match that is on that card that they're not involved in. So we'll get to that. But I do think the stage has been set. You got your four guys there in this new Bloodline. I think that on the other side you're gonna have Roman Reigns, the Usos, and some people want to say Hikuleo. I don't think it's going to be Hikuleo. I think it's going to be a returning Sami Zayn to the Bloodline to help out, and I
love that idea.
Yeah. And I think that happens. Hikuleo, I see more of an NXT run for him.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And probably for the best.
Yeah. He needs a little bit more time, even though he's greatly improved.
But, yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
And I think he's more needed. His kind of character is more needed on NXT right now.
I agree. All right. And then before we get into Money in the Bank, I also want to mention, Dan, this is fresh in your mind. You saw it today. I actually rewatched it today too.
Yeah.
The video package for the Wyatt Six, and I was a little bit, I thought the introduction of the Wyatt Six and everything was cool. I had questions about how this was going to be like played out and whatnot. I didn't really know what it was going to be like, because the execution for these type of things, the presentation at the beginning is usually more impressive than what the finished product is.
Could be dicey.
But fucking A, bro. If this wasn't the best video package that they've put out so far, it was incredible.
Do you think that this is what they originally planned to do with Bray? Or do you think they sort of pivoted a little bit and it's still some of the same stuff?
I think it's some of the same stuff. I think that I don't know if there was ever a plan to actually present the fact that Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. But,
Okay.
the way that they're doing that now, and, the prevailing quote that stands out in my mind is, I am the voice of the reckoning. And then Uncle Howdy says, I am the reckoning. And that, I just thought that was just such a good presentation. You look at the people that are in the Wyatt Six, he brought that message of saying, like, we were the ones that were forgotten about by our families. And you can make a case for every single person that's in that group. Nikki Cross, when it comes to sanity, her relationship with Alexa Bliss, even. Then you have Joe Gacy when it comes to the schism. You have Dexter Loomis, maybe when it comes like to the way and Indy Hartwell and stuff. And then Eric Rowan, of course, like the OG of the Wyatt family, the one that was kind of cast aside. And then you have Bo, who has been cast aside over and over again. And then I think it's such a great story that they're telling, because it is true for all those guys that they were really forgotten about, you know?
And now it turns them into wrestlers again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So now it's okay. So we had that thought, right? We said it on the show a handful of weeks back. How do you present them as wrestlers? Right. But now you can, because it's
no secret as to what their identities are.
And it's no secret that they showed Bo Dallas in a locker room. Right. It wasn't like a regular, just dark ass room. You could tell it was a locker room.
Right.
So so they're starting to melt away at that doubt. Okay, are they going to be able to wrestle?
Exactly. And if Vince McMahon was in charge, man, there would be no acknowledgement of their prior characters at all. They would just be starting fresh, and it would just be stupid. And like the commentators would have to like act like they don't know who they are, It'd
be Retribution 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be creepy Retribution. That's it.
So as much as these things haven't worked in the past, I think that there's a very good chance that this could be the one angle that kind of turns it around in terms of like these supernatural type things.
Has the supernatural character outside of the Undertaker ever really worked?
No,
I don't think so.
I'm impressed as hell with Bo Dallas's acting skills, man. Like, just saying, like, it made him, he kept repeating that it made him absolutely sick when people leave their family. I'm probably referring to Chad Gable, probably referring to Jey Uso. It's cool shit. It's just cool shit. It made me so excited watching that last night.
I'd like to see it get into the ring. I'd like to see a live promo. I'd like to see how a live promo plays out and whatnot, but I would definitely say that I am all in. I tried to stay up to watch it that live. I was like, oh, when are they going to show the video? And then Michael Cole comes back. He's like, oh, we'll show you later. And I was like, fuck you, Michael Cole.
It was like not until like hour 3 that it was shown too.
Yeah, and I was not staying up for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But you got to keep them wanting. If I was a younger man that wasn't so tired, I might have stayed up. But nah.
For sure. All right. So let's cover Money in the Bank, because it is happening this weekend, and then we'll put a bow on it, send everyone home happy. Let's start off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We got a lot of fresh faces in this one, which I'm really happy about. Not a lot of the same like people that you see in these matches all the time. With Jey Uso versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade versus Chad Gable versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre. I am, you know what? This might sound crazy. I'm going to go with Chad Gable. And I think I'm going to go with Chad Gable because I can see Punk costing Drew, and I can see the bloodline costing Jay.
Yeah, and LA Knight is a baby face, and the heel is much better.
And LA Knight is, he's going to be feuding with Logan Paul.
Is Chad Gable ready for the fucking main event?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. He was feeling real Kurt Angle yesterday.
Definitely.
To me.
I love
like
it.
Real Kurt Angle. I was like, you okay, bro? But no, I think Drew wins despite Punk trying to interfere.
Good pick. All right. And then we have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Io Sky versus Toronto's own Chelsea Green versus Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. Who do you got, Dan?
I got Naomi.
I got Naomi too. And Naomi is definitely who I want to win.
I want Naomi to win. If Naomi doesn't win, I think it's going to be Tiffany Stratton.
That's
just going on the heel factor, right? Mm-hmm. I just think that heels make better Money in the Bank holders. Mm-hmm. Personally,
I also wouldn't count out the possibility of Io Sky winning a second year in a row.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But who knows? Maybe it'll be Chelsea Green. She's been.
You know what?
I didn't think she was even going to get into the
era.
match.
I could see Chelsea Green winning, cashing in, and losing, but I don't think they're going to waste a Money in the Bank like that.
Probably not. Mm-hmm. Chelsea Green's a good wrestler and has a good character. I wouldn't say good wrestler, but a passable wrestler.
Yeah, she's a passable wrestler, but a great entertainer.
Fantastic entertainer.
Yes.
But we are in a new era where wrestling does matter a little bit more in WWE. Mm-hmm. So I will go away. But I would like to see. I like seeing people win in their hometowns. I do, truthfully.
Yeah.
But
we'll see how that plays out for Chelsea. But
I still think my pick is Naomi. So
mm-hmm. My pick's Naomi too. All right. Last chance match for the World Heavyweight Championship. If Priest wins, Rollins will never challenge for the title as long as Priest is champion. If Rollins wins, Priest must leave the Judgment Day. Seth Rollins and Damian Priest, obviously. I'm going to go with Priest, and I think that it happens. I don't think it happens in a clean way.
No, I think Priest wins with interference from the Judgment Day, but it just pisses him off.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And, you're going to see more splinters between him and the Judgment Day. And, because he said in that promo that the Judgment Day needs him a hell of a lot more than he needs the Judgment Day.
And then they had that little back and forth on Raw, too. So
exactly. All right. Singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn defends against Braun Breaker. This breaks my heart, man. But I think we see a title change here. I think that Braun Breaker wins. And I think that this just opens up for Sami to go and help out the OG bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say I'd agree with you here. Braun Breaker is a future world champion in their eyes. Mm-hmm. So to me, he's going to have a run with the Intercontinental Championship. I think that Triple H is going to do things booking wise the way that he came up, where, you have a good run with the mid-card title. You don't get thrust right into the middle of the world championship picture. So,
if he does win, honestly, my only hope is that he does it in a heel cheating way, because I just don't want him to beat Sami Zayn clean. I think that Sami has just worked way too hard to get to the spot that he's in.
I think it's silly if they have him kind of squash Sami or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
I also think it diminishes Gunther's reign a little bit, if I'm being honest with you, right? Yeah. If the guy that ends Gunther's reign gets so squashed, easily demolished,
terrible.
Yeah. I think it definitely puts a little bit of a stain on Gunther's championship.
I agree, my friend.
But
All
yeah,
right,
Braun Breaker is going to win.
Finally, in the main event, because Cody's in it, we got Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, the super best friends, against the Bloodline of Freebird rules, I guess. A combination of either Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. If there is a god, Tonga Loa is not going to participate in that match, and it's going to be the other three.
It should be.
Yeah.
I mean, Tonga Loa is not a slouch, but like he's easily the fourth worst.
I would make a case that he's a bit of a slouch, personally.
Okay. Well, that's rude. But okay.
I think that him being in a tag team with Tama Tonga like covered up a lot of his deficiencies as a performer. But I don't mind him presentation wise. These guys all being in the group together, it's fucking awesome. But I think the fans really just want to see Jacob Fatu get in there and get dirty.
That's all they care about. That's right. That's all I care about.
And I think that I think the new Bloodline wins.
What do you think, me too. Me too. I agree. Do you think Roman gets involved here?
I think that there's going to be like a hint at Roman Reigns, but not quite like fully him being back. If that makes any sense.
No, not really.
No, but, I don't know.
But I don't know how you hint
like a teaser or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I hope he does come back. It'll be good for Money in the Bank. Make it a high profile. I know they kind of isn't that one of the ones. Didn't they want to make that one of like their fifth biggest one of the year?
Yes, they did.
So if that is the case, then maybe they will go with a big name.
Isn't it so funny how Roman Reigns hasn't been on TV at all yet, and he has done nothing yet? He has become like maybe the biggest babyface in the company since he's been gone.
That's how good Roman Reigns is.
It is. And it kind of reminds me a bit of when Triple H tore his quad and he was gone for a long, long time. And then he came back and people were just losing their fucking minds, you know?
Yep. I remember that. Yep. I recall that very vividly.
Yeah. So let's get a YouTube Beautiful Day music video for Roman Reigns when he comes back. Give me all those feels again.
Oh, boy.
All right. So I think that's it for this week, Dan. We'll be back next week, hopefully around the same time. But as always, guys, follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter at Smarknado1, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And go check out our link tree. All sorts of fun stuff there. Dan, you have anything left for us?
Yes or no? Would you take a triple power bomb through a table from the Bloodline?
For how much money?
I don't know. Free. Just
for
to say
free?
You did it. Just say you did it.
Well, considering the workout that I was put through yesterday at Metabolic and how much my back was in pain, it can't be any worse than that. So, yes.
Attaboy. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.